to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 89. Oh, this is going to be off the rails. This is going to be absolutely just a blast. We are here in the office, Matt here and I, not the Matt here. Hold on. The Matt here behind the ones and twos here is going to be picking out the comments. Usually it's Pace, but you can see Pace is in North Carolina. So we are going to be selecting a lot of questions, a lot of answers, but let me warm up this dish a little bit. All right. First of all, the gentleman below me here has done, listen to this. This is bananas. This is, I don't know anybody that's done this many deals, but you've done 18,100 short sales. Is that right, Matthew? Matthew Potter?
Yes, indeed. That's where we're sitting at as of literally last week.
This is incredible. And so what we want to do here is we really want to blend these two. We really want to know when a wholesaler, when we're out there and we're generating a ton of leads, like what do we do with the people that don't really have enough equity or where a short sale is the right strategy for this property owner at the time. So we're going to dig into that, and we're going to all pepper you with a ton of questions, Matthew, but it's going to be really, guys, 18,000 deals. Like there are companies, there are brokerages, national brokerages that have done less deals than this man right here. So it's going to be absolutely just an exciting show. And Pace, hit us up. Where you at, buddy? We miss you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
I'm in Durham, North Carolina.
Okay.
I was planning on this place totally sucking, and it freaking blew my mind. I love North Carolina. Every freaking part of it is unbelievable how beautiful this place is. I think all of us coming from Arizona, we just get used to not having fall.
Yep.
And we forget what like trees with different colors look like. But I feel like I'm in some sort of like John Cusack movie with like, it's like a rom-com or something like that. I feel like I'm in some festive love movie. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But we are having a big meetup here tomorrow in Raleigh with Terry Thayer, Crystal, and Diedrich Polite. We're going to be doing a collaboration on a meetup.
Awesome.
And we're just having a blast, man. Loving North Carolina, kind of exploring things, meeting some other people on the A&E network that are out here. I can tell you guys, Matthew Potter, who's on the screen right now, is like the most important part to your life if you ever run into somebody that needs a short sell. I have hundreds, not dozens, hundreds of students that love Matthew Potter, and his team. So guys, pay attention to the show. It is a big, big deal. I actually have some of my own curiosities tonight. So I don't know if I'll be picking out any of the questions tonight, but I have curiosities, because I know Matthew Potter's done 18,000 transactions, but I bet you there's no short sales available for the last couple of years because everybody just has so much equity. There's no way you've done a short sale anytime recent, right?
Yeah, we closed 3 last week.
Isn't that crazy, dude? You probably hear this all the time, like short sales are dead. They're not possible. You probably hear all the pontificating about short sales are dead, but meanwhile you guys are doing dozens and dozens of deals every single month. So should we start it off really basic, Brent, and talk about what the hell a short sale even is?
That's what I think that's where we start. So Matt, will you kind of explain what a short sale is, and kind of as people are approaching, we've got a lot of people that are just coming into the industry. They're just building their momentum. They're starting to talk to and have quality conversations with these property owners. But sometimes it comes up that maybe a short sale is the option, or maybe they don't, I owe more than you're willing to offer me. Now, what do I do? So will you kind of explain what a short sale is real quick, and then how you got into it and what you've seen, because you've seen the whole evolution of this thing. So what are you seeing? And especially on the tail end of this, I don't want to get too far ahead, but on the tail end of this, what are you seeing currently after, the whole COVID and forbearance and everything going on? Will you explain kind of what you're seeing from the inside when it comes to these short sales?
Yeah. So first and foremost, short sale. Most simplistic answer to that is a seller that is in a negative equity position where, kind of like you had said, Brent, you touched on this, the numbers just aren't going to work. They're just not going to work. One of the perfect examples, Pace and I have talked about this a lot, and it's one of my favorite loans to actually short: a reverse mortgage. A reverse mortgage it's a great opportunity for a short sale, because at the end of the day, it's a losing proposition under any other strategy other than just flipping or wholetailing, something like that. So a short sale, let's just use an example. Say you had somebody who owes $300,000 on a property. Even when you're running terms, you're looking at potentially, again, we'll just use round numbers for sake of this. Say $1,500 a month is what you can rent it for. Mortgage, taxes, HOA comes out to $1,800. It's a losing proposition. You have the ability to effectively play, as I call it, Mother May I with a bank. Mother May I sell this house for $200,000, and you can acquire it for where it makes more sense.
I've never heard anybody describe it that way, Matthew. Even
Perfect.
you, bro.
That's perfect.
I freaking love that. What a great description.
That's literally what it comes down to. It does, and it's what I'm seeing, and what's happening there is the banks have never taken loss mitigation off the table, because there is always a certain section of the loan pool where you're going to need to do loan mods, you're going to need to do short sales, forbearances, HUD partial claims, whatever it may be. They have kind of a pretty set in stone guidelines now on short sales, from the aspect of, hey, if our investor is X, say that Fannie Mae is the actual owner of the mortgage, we're going to need 82% net to value. I view that because at the end of the day, it's not a seller's money that you're working with then. It's a bank's. That's 18% below market value. If you can find a way to structure a deal and make that happen, congratulations, you just acquired a deal 18% below what the actual market value is. That's, in a lot of markets, especially a seller appreciating market, that's a great deal. It is. So there's that aspect of it. I'll give you a perfect example. We have one right now that we're doing. We just got acceptance from the first and second mortgage. The third mortgage is sending their approval. There's 3 mortgages on this thing. So it's a fun one. The ARV on it is $550,000. The guy who brought the deal to us is buying it all in. He's not paying the seller's closing fees, because the bank is. He's buying it for $370,000. That's a good spread right there. It is, and it needs about $30,000 worth of work.
Damn, that's a great deal.
Yeah. So those deals are there. They're there. They're there for the taking. It's just knowing how to even preliminarily identify that that's an option, of, hey, this doesn't work on the creative side. Hey, this doesn't work on, a joint venture, whatever it may be. Is there another alternative? I always joke.
Dude, it's so critical to point that out. So I tell people to stay away from short sales.
Yep.
Not short sales. I tell people to stay away from reverse mortgages and go the short sale route. And I also tell people to stay away from short sales and to hire a professional to do them, because you guys take What would you say the average short sale takes? It's not 3 weeks. Sometimes it's not even. Sometimes you probably had deals that go as long as 2 years, 3 years, right?
On average, we're cooking right now to the tune about 2 to 4 months to lock up most deals. The longest one that we've ever done, and hand to God, I swear on all my kids, this is how long it took. It took 47 and a half months.
Woo!
Now, here was the cool thing about that, though, because you guys definitely understand this. The bank never ordered an updated appraisal through that entire 47 and a half months. How happy do you think that buyer was? That buyer was through the roof when I said, hey, yo, this is approved. I need you to close in a week. They were like, deal done. I'm wiring in the funds now.
Bro, that's a big
Matthew,
deal. So just for like the people that are brand new, let me kind of walk through the history of short sales just real quick. So back in 2007, nobody really talked about short sales. I feel like nobody ever talked about them. It was almost like Matthew Potter and a handful of other people like invented these bad boys. Like you were on a team and you were running in a circle of people that basically you guys created short sales. Let's just shorten the story.
Yep.
And they were a huge deal from like 2008 to 2000. What would you say? Like 12, something like that?
I'd say 12, 13. 13
okay.
was when we started. The beginning of 13 was when we started to see them decline, albeit
so
slowly.
Basically, for people that are brand new in the audience, what Matt was doing is he was getting these homeowners and these investors and saying, hey, let me go negotiate with the bank on your behalf. Let me play the mother may I game. I know how these banks work. I know every little nuance. I know the people at the banks because I've been doing this so long that actually approve these short sales. I know the little pieces of paperwork and where they want the signature and what color they want the lines and like every little thing that they need to know. I know it all. So let me go play mother may I with them and I'll get your house that you're $100 grand, $200 grand, $300 grand underwater. This is back in the days when people literally had like $500,000 houses that are now worth like 180.
Yep.
And you're getting the bank to approve you to sell those houses below, way below what the seller owed. And it was crazy. Like that's why you've done so many deals, and you've done deals in every single state across the country. By the way, everybody's going to say, does Matthew only work in Arizona? Guys, he does deals everywhere. And I want you guys to how do they get a hold of you first and foremost, Matthew? They need to look you up right now, and they need to add you to their arsenal, not only because of some stuff I'm going to say, but also when we have a crash, which we will at some point, Matthew Potter will become everybody's best freaking friend.
You nailed it. So the easiest ways to get a hold of me, you can text me. My cell phone number is 480-343-7894. You can text me.
You're giving out your cell phone number?
Yep.
Say it again.
Not like your enemy's cell phone number you're trying to play a prank on or anything?
Nope, definitely not. So the number again is 480-343-7894. Emailing me is probably one of the fastest ways to get a hold of me because I live in my email box. My email is real simple. It's just matthew@stunninghomes.com. And then you can also add me on Instagram. You can message me there. It's just @Matthew Potter Realtor. And then you can also add me on Facebook as well. And I'm in all the groups. I'm in this group. I'm also in, oh man, there it goes. My phone's blowing up. This is good.
Freaking love it. Well, so guys, make sure, hey, Brent, you want to put, or Matt, you want to put
we got it.
Matthew Potter's info on the screen, please?
Yep, we got it.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you. So, Matthew, I want to break down like where a lot of my students have seen success working with you. Because obviously in sub 2, we don't just do cash wholesale. We don't just do fix and flip. We go after terms, right? So What you alluded to earlier is, let's say I run into a seller and the deal not only does it not cash flow, but a lot of times they can't get approved for a loan mod because they don't have income or something weird is going on in their life. There are so many situations where a short sale right now is so important. So for example, I've got a deal right now that I'm going to buy this deal sub 2, But if this lady didn't find me or I didn't find this lady, she was going to go with a short sale. She just bought her house.
Yep.
Like she just bought it. Her husband passes away from COVID. She has no income. There's no pension. There's no job anymore. And she's like, I'm just going to go live with my son. Now I have no money. I don't know what to do. My realtor told me the only thing I can do is a short sale. And I was like, well, what's going on? I ended up buying it sub 2. But a lot of times you'll run into sellers that have a big amount of arrears they're behind on. They're going to get foreclosed on. And if I'm going to buy that sub 2, the only way I can overcome all those late payments that seller's behind on is to do a loan modification.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can't accomplish a loan modification, which happens all the time, a short sale is like the most amazing thing, because even though you let Matthew Potter do the short sale for you, a lot of times, one, Matthew Potter will get you paid on it. And two, you can end up being the buyer on the short sale.
Yep.
And that's a big deal. People don't understand that is what the situation is that Matthew will do everything in his power to turn around and make sure that you have an opportunity, or you basically are the guaranteed buyer. Matthew, is that what you're doing for a lot of investors? That I think a lot of people think, well, if I do a short sale, then I can't buy the deal.
So you just touched on probably the most important part about how we like to structure our business. So let's just say that, Pace, let's say you bring me a deal, and you've brought me deals before. You have.
Hey, by the way, thank you for letting us do the first episode on Triple Digit Flip is the house you sold us.
That's right, dude. I kid you not. I didn't even recognize the house, dude. I was sitting there watching it with Nicole, and I'm like, that's the house that had the cat on the oven. I'm like, that's it. I'm like, they're doing it on that house.
They called it the Animal House on A&E because it was full of dead cats and all sorts of stuff.
Dude, that thing was rough. I knew y'all were the right ones, though. I was like, this is for you guys. This is for you. So this is what's up, Jamil? So you touched on something, Pace, and you've seen it firsthand. And there's a multitude of people. I'm looking kind of here on the side. I've worked with Ingrid Hernandez, Anthony Orr. I'm working with him right now. Vicky Morgan. There's a bunch of people that have worked with me. So say you bring a deal to me, because of the fact that I have relationships with agents and brokers all over the country. That's kind of, I guess, you guys always talk about squad up in the comments, squad up here. I have my squad where I can send it to them and let them do what we need them to do to make it compliant with the bank. In the meantime, I'm working on getting your offer in front of the bank so that you ultimately get the first bite of the apple. So if the bank comes back, we'll just use a hypothetical. Say the bank comes back and says, we need 150 and you're at $120. You get the first right to go back and forth with them. Maybe we land at 135 and it's a good deal for everybody. Boom, you've bought the property. If you decide to wholesale it, flip it, put it into your rental portfolio, whatever your exit.
What about, so if I'm in that situation, Matthew, and a lot of people in the comments are here to learn, right? So maybe their first deal, maybe it's their first, their first 10 deals, and they don't have the ability to fix and flip. Because anytime we buy a short sale, we're going to end up fixing and flipping it, right? Because I don't get the terms attached to it. Those terms are gone. I have to buy it cash. Can I wholesale a short sale? Could you bring it to me and could I sign it, or is that tricky?
It's tricky. There's depending on.
Can I double close it?
Yes, unless it comes with what's known as deed restrictions.
Okay.
Do most of them come with deed restrictions?
Yes.
Because we need everybody's getting excited in the comments here. We need to really rein this in and get realistic about what restrictions are done afterwards. Go ahead, Jamil. Welcome, buddy.
Thank you, guys. I apologize for being late. Matthew Potter, first and foremost, I just got off the phone with A&E.
Okay.
And they wanted me to personally thank you for bringing us that amazing opportunity that you brought us on our Animal House.
You're welcome.
It was an incredible deal. Second, they thought that knowing and having a short sale specialist on our team was so valuable for their viewers that at some point we need to figure out how to introduce that to the American public. And so, Matthew, I just wanted to tell you that like what you do as a business, first and foremost, is so special. You're helping so many people. And you also helped us tremendously on getting a fantastic project. So anyways, guys, I apologize for being late. I've been on the phone with A&E's brass for the last 20 minutes. And so that's been a little bit difficult, but great to see you, Matthew.
You as well.
Great to see you, Brent.
Thank you. Good to see you, brother.
Ace, good to see you, man. Where you been?
Bro, I just made the greatest freaking music video of you with your shirt off, throwing your shirt around like a helicopter on a P.D. Pablo music video. It's going to be great.
You know, there's nothing more I like than being naked on camera. So thank you.
Yes. So Matthew, I can wholesale a short sale opportunity, but it's very tricky. And the smartest thing for me to do is take it down cash.
Yes. So thank you, Brent, for stopping the flood of, oh God. So here's the thing. The bank's terms, usually they'll give an approval letter that'll say we're accepting X price, X net. These are the approved closing costs. And then there's going to be what's known as the deed restriction that comes with it. And this is usually in all 50 states, regardless of where you are. And what it will be is you are not allowed to transfer the property for 30 days, no exceptions.
Yep.
After that, days 31 through 90, you can transfer it, but for no more than 120% of the acquisition. So if you bought it at 100 grand, you can't sell it for more than 120. At day 91, you can sell it for any price you want to anybody you want. Doesn't matter. So
for the audience that is listening, let's talk about what that means specifically. If I buy it, let's say I find an opportunity.
Okay.
It currently doesn't have any equity. The seller's in a bad situation. I can't work out terms because the cash flow doesn't work, whatever. And I decide I want to fix and flip this because it's an easy project.
Okay.
So I go to Matthew Potter. Matthew Potter works out the arrangements with the bank. The bank sells it to us at a lowered price that makes sense for me to go fix and flip it. I buy it with a hard money loan. Doesn't mean I have to have cash, guys. Everybody in the audience is gonna be like, oh my gosh, I don't have money to buy a deal. You get a hard money loan to go fix and flip it. And then if let's say I do a really quick renovation, like $5,000 to $10,000, carpet paint, clean up the property, and I throw it back on the market, and I get an offer on like day 35 of me owning it, I'm not going to be able to sell that property for anything of more than 20% higher than what they sold it to me for. Is that correct?
Correct.
So that puts me in a tough situation if I'm a fix and flipper and it's a really low end renovation that I could throw right back on the market. I'm going to have to wait until day 91 to sell it for the full price so that the bank prior that gave me the approval on the short sale doesn't restrict my transfer of the deed to the new owner. Correct?
Correct. Yes.
Got it. Okay, cool.
So just so you know, we had this happen recently. There was a great property up in Tremato that an agent brought to us. She wanted to buy it. We got it for God, I want to say it was like, she bought it at like 270 and the ARV on it was like 480. Damn. And it needed 10 grand. It didn't need anything. So what she did, because, well, I mean, it's right there on the approval letter. Can't sell it for 30 days, 31 to 90. You can only do 20%. She found a buyer, secured the buyer, put the buyer under contract like day, I don't know. I think it was like day like 18 and just pushed out close of escrow until day 91.
But wait, Matthew, is that legal?
My understanding, of course, I'm not a lawyer. I would highly suggest you talk to one. My understanding is yes, because she didn't close. She closed in accordance with the approval terms. It was day 91. At day 91, she can sell the property. Think about it this way. If a cash buyer came in on day 91 and there was no HOA and free and clear title, they could literally close on day 91 and they're in accordance with the deed restriction that's there. The title company closed it and insured it, so I have to assume legal looked at that.
So Matthew, when you were talking about how the banks have only a certain percentage of the appraised value, the ARV, that they can approve the sale. How is somebody getting a $480,000 property for $270,000?
So here's the super cool thing. Unless you're living under a rock, you know that there are still people from 05, 06, 07, and 08 that have huge mortgages that are out there. They're not all gone.
Yes, I run into them all the time.
I know.
May I also just say, Brent, 470 is ARV. 470 isn't as is value.
Jamil nailed that.
Jamil, he said it needed 10 grand in rehab.
So
what's 10 grand in rehab? Matthew's 10 grand, my 10 grand, your 10 grand, or what does that mean?
The bank's 10 grand.
It's a cleaner property, probably, right? There's probably a lot of comps out there that they could see it that it's worth more than 270. How do you get 270 approved on a 450? 480. I'm sorry, 480.
So here's the great thing. When it's old paper and they know that it's dirty paper, in my world, there's dirty paper.
This is where I want to get to. Yes.
Let's just call it what it is. It's trash. It's a failed MBS. It's not something that the bank wants on its books. All of a sudden, there's a little play in that percentage of what they're willing to take. And here's the other thing that I found that's a super cool thing. And this is for everybody to look at when you're looking at potential properties that would be a good short sale fit. If somebody's gone through a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and all of a sudden they say, well, it was included in the bankruptcy, in my world, those are gold. Because the bank, they've already written this whole thing off. They don't care. Like, they literally do not care. Does that mean they're going to sell it to you for 5 cents on the dollar? No. But does that mean that they're going to look at it and say, all right, it's worth this. We've already taken a loss. This is already on our books. It's already hit. All right, fine. We'll go ahead and take your 65% and call it a day and be done with it and move it, which is exactly what the case is with that Tramato property.
I love it. How do people find that out as they're, you know what I mean? Is there a window of time, like from 05 to 08 or something, that if the loan was originated there, that you've got a decent shot? Like, how does that work?
Usually what I look for is between 05, 08, maybe even 09, because that's when we had the artificial, let's pump it up with the first time home buyer tax credit. That was a superb idea. About 05 through 09 is when you're really going to see those mortgages. The other thing is just looking at it across the board. When you're talking to a client and say you start kind of digging in, you've asked your pain questions, you're really trying to get to the bottom of how you can help them. Ask them if they filed bankruptcy once you have a rapport. It's not an offensive question. I know some people feel that it is. It's really not an offensive question. It's
an offensive question if you're walking on the street and you ask somebody in a non-real estate related transaction. In a real estate related transaction, it's expected. In fact, it's offensive if you don't ask the right questions. Don't you agree?
Correct. Because if you don't ask the right questions, you
can't get the job done.
You can't find the right solution for them. It's that simple. You can't. Yep. And the moment that I ask, like, oh, hey, are you in a bankruptcy? And Marissa, my transaction manager, many of you have worked with her. I joke around. I nicknamed her nickname is Vishnu because I swear she's got 8 arms with the amount of work she gets done. She'll email me, text me, hey, we have a Chapter 13 BK. What's the exact terminology that I need? You need a You need a letter of abandonment from the trustee. As soon as you have that, it's generally 21 days. From that, if there are no objections by the court, we are now free to go ahead and move about the country, and we can go ahead and sell this property. She always makes sure it's on her checklist. She makes sure, because if it's in a BK or it's been through a BK, we know right away, hey, we got a good chance here to really help out and create a win-win solution for everybody.
Awesome.
Matthew.
Yes.
May I ask you a question?
Always.
So short sales have been, in my opinion, one of the deepest avenues for fraud that I've ever seen. And we want to make sure that everybody who does business the way that we teach it, people that are in our hemisphere understand how to stop themselves from being involved in a transaction that could hurt them, and how to do that. So first and foremost, Matthew, again, I just popped on, so thank you for being the brilliant short sale mastermind that you are. What about people who put short sales under contract in an LLC and then sell the LLC or transfer the LLC as a workaround?
I mean,
I'm on a phone call.
You killing yourself with a camera, and you killing me.
I'm on.
Well, I'm just saying, do not be looking at me.
All right, thank you.
I don't want to be rude.
Sorry, guys. I got a homeless person. They want to know about short sales and stuff. I'm sorry.
See if you can get an address for me. Let's get to work.
She's homeless.
Not for long. So yes, you just touched on the quote unquote $1 million workaround that was created back in, I want to say it was 2010, 2011. Some genius came up with this idea. This is what I'm going to say. And Jamil, you've known me, God, I don't even know how many years. Pace, you've known me about the same amount of time. It's easily a decade at this point. Brent, we've run in the same circles for about the same amount of time.
Yep.
I take my business very seriously. I take anybody I help. I take their business just as seriously as my own. I will never put someone in a compromising position where it would effectively land them in trouble with any governing agency and or cause them to lose a professional license if they hold one or something of that nature. So with the LLC buyer transfer, when somebody brings that to my table, I say, look, my table's not where we need to eat. You can go ahead and go somewhere else, because I'm not going to do that. And I'll tell you this, back in 2010, when we had just started our short sale company, and I ate ramen for like 6 months and didn't take a paycheck. Like, I kid you not, dude. I think my paychecks were like $200 a month for 6 months. We had an investor out of North Las Vegas that called us up and said, hey, word on the street is you guys get these done. We're going to send them over. And it's exactly what you were describing. It was the LLC transfer thing. This dude sent us 50 transactions, which to me at the time, I was like, oh my God, like, dude, we hit it. We made it. We're finally here. And the moment I read through the paperwork, I kid you not, 2 seconds later, I was on the phone with our attorney and he was like, dude, cut them. It's not worth it. You will lose your ability to make a living for your family and for your business partners. So, it's not worth it.
So can we just say unilaterally here, guys, you heard it on Wholesale Hotline. If you are involved in a transaction that turns into a short sale where people are talking about transferring an LLC to skirt the deed restrictions that a bank is placing on a property, you are committing fraud.
100%.
Okay.
Hey, guys.
The reason why, Matthew... Sorry, go ahead, Base.
No, I was trying to encourage you to keep going.
The reason why I bring this up is because we hear it. We hear it a lot. Yeah. We hear it a lot with people. And of course, homeowners are going to try to entice people to do deals with them. And in fact, you might be inclined, if you get a short sale approved at a really great price, to try and figure out a methodology to close on the property that doesn't involve you taking title. And I just want you guys to know, first and foremost, it's a fraudulent transaction.
Don't do it.
Don't do that.
Mm-mm. There's too many other deals. There's too many other deals. Don't get, yeah.
I'll give you a perfect synopsis. A broker that I used to know, I no longer associate with him here in Arizona. He tried to skirt the banks. He did effectively a double close when he wasn't supposed to the tune of $1 million profit. So he shaved $1 million off of the bank's bottom line. He went to prison for 15 years, and he has restitution of 1.5 million to pay.
I think we both know the individual.
Yes, and it's not worth it. It's never worth it. That's the
never.
thing. It's not. There's like every day you wake up in this world, you have the opportunity to do deals and do cool shit. Sorry, I cuss. I'm sorry if I offended anybody.
Oh, Jamil set the tone.
Jamil, put your
long
ear,
ago.
you know.
Like you have the ability to do cool and dope stuff every day. Like, don't jeopardize it over one deal. Don't think that one deal is the end all, because it never is. I learned that not even necessarily the hard way. I just learned it when we started up our short sale company. Dude, we had 6 deals for the first, like, I don't know. I want to say it was like 4 months. I was bored out of my skull, but every day I was hitting the phones, getting brokers and homeowners to come in. Like, dude, just let me put money into your pocket by doing what I do best. And then a year later, guess what? Dude, I didn't care about Mr. North Las Vegas 50 deals. It didn't matter anymore. And it won't. And that's just the reality of the situation.
I always think, well, I care about this in 5 years. You
Bingo.
know what I mean? Will this affect me 5 years down the road? Well, this conversation that I had with somebody, this relationship that you have with people, all these things, is going to matter in 5 years. I always think in that terms. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just got a crazy brain. But in this business, if you think that way, it keeps you out of, trying to get short-term profits where you feel like maybe you're just in a weird gray area, or maybe this is something that nobody else knows about. That doesn't happen, guys. It just doesn't happen. It's very simple. Find deals, find discounted properties, and sell them.
Couple questions, Matthew.
Got it. Let's
go.
Munif,
one of my students, he's going to be in the Closers Olympics, guys. So give him some freaking love, by the way.
What up, Munif?
Munif and Dan Quijano, a couple of my students made it into the open round section. So very, very exciting. So Matthew, is the only thing I can do, let's say I'm a wholesaler, right? I'm eating Top Ramen myself. Okay, because there's a lot of wholesalers that are aspiring, right? Wholesale is the easiest way to get into real estate. Wholesaling creative deals, wholesaling cash deals. It's the easiest way to get into real estate. So if I run into a deal that's a short sale opportunity, is fixing and flipping it the only way for me to make money, or can I get paid by your team, or what can I do?
So there's several different ways that people have made money with short sales. Fixing and flipping is the easiest. Like, it literally is the easiest. You take it down, you fix it, you flip it, you turn around and sell it. One of the things that I've encouraged a lot of people to do, and this kind of goes back to your guys' original squat up, I guess for lack of better words, mantra, is if you're new, but you found the deal, get with somebody and maybe create an LLC with them, make a partnership, a JV, or even, hey, all right, I'm going to buy it. Pace is going to supply the capital for renovations and carrying costs, and we'll split out the profit. Find someone that can help you get to your finish line. What we always try to do in structure, as you guys know, is we always try to bring it to the, hey, if we're, if you brought it to our table, we want you to be able to acquire it, or an affiliate to be able to acquire it, whatever it may be. If it's maybe you have a buyer that you're good friends with. Hey, okay, I want you to take this down because I don't have the capital to do it. We've even seen that happen. If you are a licensed realtor, we'll pay a referral fee to you. If you are a buyer that maybe has an affiliation with an agent, for example, let's just say, here's a perfect example. Pace, your wife is a realtor. Pace brings a deal to us. We're going to go ahead and close it. What are we going to do when it closes? We're going to go ahead and we're going to pay a referral fee back to Pace's wife. That's now, even if Pace wasn't married to Laura, like that's an option for other people if you have a working business relationship with a realtor that maybe lists your flips or your wholesales or whatever it may be. There's 1,000 different ways to make money doing this. It's just doing it properly so that you don't get jammed up.
Matthew, may I ask you the next following questions? Sorry, Brent,
Yes.
did I pass you over?
No. I'm looking at the comments here. You're good.
Okay.
Go, brother.
So Matthew.
Yes.
How does one legally refer a deal over to a short sale specialist like yourself and get a referral fee if they're not licensed?
So that's the tricky part. The tricky part is, and this is one of the things that
Island 22.
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Sorry.
wait, what? All I heard was a 22, and I'm like, is there like a new regulation I'm not aware of? So usually what we would like to see to make it easy is if you have a partnership with a realtor, that would be where we would want to send that money.
Partner with a realtor is first and foremost the way to get paid.
Yes. The other thing that we found and we tinkered with, which come to find out is something that we can do, and we're working on expanding it through our network of agents, is say that you were buying one of our short sales. You brought a deal to us. You were buying one. We all know at the end of the day that there's closing costs associated with taking a property down. Now, one of the nice things is on a short sale is the bank's paying all of the seller's side. So in a traditional wholesale, usually buyer is paying all of the closing costs. You're not in this case. But what we're working on now is having the agent that's doing up the contract, for bank compliance, having them go ahead and give a credit to the buyer's closing costs to offset, to kind of help in a way, almost, I won't use the word referral because it's not a referral fee, but it's a way to be able to help offset costs.
So you're saying that a person can get paid by referring back closing costs?
It's not necessary. Well, yes and no. In a way, what it is because it has to be on a HUD-1 settlement statement for it to be legitimate.
Right.
It effectively what it is the buyer's agent is agreeing to compensate or to pay the buyer's closing costs, like an escrow fee, recording fee, HOA transfer fee, whatever the typical costs are on that specific transaction. And so far, we've just kind of tested this.
That turns into a credit.
Correct.
That turns into a net credit for the seller.
Correct. So it ends up being a credit, and it's one of the things because there's another facet of my business. I think you guys know I work with a hedge fund right now. We have an agreement with them that's kind of similar to that, and it works extremely well as long as all parties are aware and have agreed to it. It works extremely well for everybody.
Got it. Wow. Are you seeing that are the buyers for these properties a lot, Matthew, is the hedge funds? So here's the thing we're living in probably one of the most unique times in real estate I've ever seen. Like, we really are. I don't think there will ever be a market like this again, similar to how everybody thinks there will never be a market like there was in 2008. Right. Right now, the amount of private equity and hedge fund money that is floating around in the space, especially in your suburban, Jamil, you sold the animal house to a hedge fund. You did.
Brother,
So
this is what I've been saying from day one. And again, I get fought from so many people about my opinion on this, but Matthew, we know what happened there.
yeah.
The hedge fund bought it because they own so much in that neighborhood. They needed to increase their cash balance in the hood.
Yep. Dude, you nailed it. Like, I kid you not, one of my clients, when we started out, they owned less than 1% of a very prominent subdivision in Santan Valley. They now own over 26% of it.
No.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, it is what it is. But yes, they'll be an end buyer on a lot of these. Like, hey, take it down, hold it, and clean it up. Just dress it up. Don't go over the top. And if it fits their box, they'll buy it. There's a guy in my brokerage. I swear to God, every time this guy buys a property in Buckeye, he calls me immediately. Can you give me a buy number? Yes, here it is. Great. I'm going to sell it to you. I'm going to put paint and carpet in. And yeah, like I said, there's a ton of private equity that's in there that is going to be not necessarily where you are in the short sale process, but the end game, when you're pushing it back onto the retail market, those are the ones, if you buy within their box, oh man, you're in a great spot. You really are.
Got it. There's a quick question just to kind of get to some of these questions here. Can you explain
Absolutely.
the difference from a credit standpoint for people when they go through a short sale as opposed to a foreclosure, and what are the benefits of a short sale in that?
So here's the thing. Every state is different with the way that state's laws are with regards to what's known as deficiencies. There's what's known as deficiency judgments. Arizona's pretty straightforward with the exception of a couple different property types and a couple different loan types. But Arizona's pretty much just a one action state where it's, if you go through foreclosure or short sale, that's it. The bank's done. They're not coming after you. That being said, one of the things that's really nice about doing the short sale is what I call, you get to dance with the devil rather than the one that you don't. Because say you go down the road of foreclosure and you have a homeowner that just says, F this, I'm just going to foreclose. I don't care. I don't want this house anymore. I want to move back in with my son. Similar to Pace's lady from the other day. Okay, that's all fine and dandy, ma'am. I completely understand and respect that. That's where your headspace is. But just to give you a little information, I'm just trying to help you live the rest of your years in peace and quiet without the bank potentially coming back to you saying, hey, we need you to sign here and here, and you owe us all this money. And I've seen that happen. People going to buy new homes 5 years later. Oh, hey, by the way, you have a $58,000 mortgage that you never satisfied. What are you talking about? I did a short sale. Yeah, you did, but whoever did it sucked, and you're on the hook for the 58 grand. The other thing that's nice is, and here's a real life experience. I actually did one of my lawyers. I know it sounds terrible that I have multiple, but it is what it is. I did one of my lawyers.
Bro, that's the biggest flex of all time, having multiple lawyers.
Yeah,
Come on, what are
I
you
mean,
talking
wealthy
about?
people have lawyers. I mean, that's that's part of your team, bro.
Literally at this point, it is. It's a team effort. It is.
Yeah.
But here was the really cool thing. She called me. She had a property down in Tucson, Arizona. She was 27 months behind on the mortgage. And she's like, dude, I'm done. This thing is a horrible investment. Get rid of it. I want to short sell it. And I'm like, all right, you need to seek legal advice and, CPA advice. And she's like, dude, I'm a lawyer. Shut up. Give me your paperwork. Let's go. And I'm like, all right, cool. So we did all of it. Her credit score had gone down because of the missed payments. It had gone down to we'll just say 580 for sake of the story. Not exactly great because she was up at the 800s before she defaulted. We got it approved. We got it closed the day before the foreclosure sale. Got it closed. 60 days later, her credit score was back up to a 780. She was able to purchase another home 2 years later in Pennsylvania because she relocated to Pennsylvania she was able to purchase a new home. That happened because she completed the short sale. If you go through the foreclosure, you're looking 3 to 5, sometimes 7 years, depending on loan type, before you can get another mortgage. That's another big push for a client that maybe can't see past the situation they're in right now. Like, look, in 3 years, you may need another home. Let's get you prepared for the future, and let's take care of what the issue is right now, in the present. Let's take care of that.
Hey, we have 150 people more watching right now than started. I think it's time to give out your cell phone number one more time.
One more time?
Yes, everybody get your freaking pen and paper out. And if all you have is Top Ramen, then, write it out with Top Ramen, whatever you got to do.
There you go. Make sure it's wet noodles. My cell phone number is 480-343-7894. Text is always the easiest way
Guys,
to get
everybody text him right now and text him the word ramen. Everybody text the word ramen. To him.
That's it. That's it.
Ramen. Everybody text ramen right now to this guy.
No, but Matthew, why would you give out your number? I mean, you've done over 18,000 deals. Why would you want to put your number out there and communicate with everybody on the show? Why would you do that?
Because there's no reason not to. I want to help other people do epic shit. That's what it comes down to. Like, I have always, from the moment that we started our short sale business, all I wanted to do was help other people. I didn't care. Do you want to know what the lowest dollar short sale is that I ever completed?
Let me guess. Okay.
Let's take a guess.
What state?
It was here in Arizona.
What city?
Arizona City.
Okay,
Arizona
that's total
City?
shit.
Oh, 2,500.
Okay, we got 2,500 for Brent.
I was gonna say 15,000.
15,000. Jamil didn't even want to participate. He was like, "I'm out." It was $1,000.
Oh,
yeah.
$1,000. So just so that you guys know, I put 9 months into that. So did my wife. So did my transaction manager. We put 9 months into that. And do you know what our processing fee was on that? Because
$1,001.
We ended up making approximately, what was it? We ended up making $30 on that deal. We made $30.
Yeah.
And then by the time we split it and by the time we paid taxes and all that fun stuff, I literally was able to get a 99-cent drink from McDonald's. But here's the best part about all of this. Number one, I think if anything, that showed me, that showed my wife, that showed our transaction manager, like, dude, we're in this to literally help people.
Like,
I'm not here to make money. This isn't to make money. It's to help people. Off of that person helping them, though, do you know how much real estate they've referred to us in the last decade to buy or sell? It's literally over $32 million in real estate between referrals of referrals, themselves. I mean, their parents, parents, like literally everybody. So it's one of those things. If you just help people, if you never look at the paycheck and you just help people, the money will always take care of itself. It will always be there. It will.
The money's equal to the amount of value you provide. It's incredible. And a lot of people get this twisted. And this is a huge fact, because everybody's looking for the, well, I'm helping out now, but I'm not getting paid yet. It's been 3 months. It's been 6 months. It's been 9 months. I've been doing this business and I made a little bit here and there. This could be your entire life. You could get these opportunities all the time to help people out and get that. And the more you serve, the more you get paid. That's it. The more value you provide, the more you get, you make. You want to make $1 million, provide $1 million worth of value, which essentially that is what it is. $32 million in real estate sales at 3% is about $1 million.
It is. And that's off of one client with a $1,000 final settlement on a short sale. And like I said, at the time, she wasn't even my wife. She was just my business partner. Nicole and I literally went to Taco Bell and we got bean burritos.
Right.
We'll never forget that. We went through the drive-thru. We got bean burritos, and we were just sitting there. And I was like, dude, I can't believe we just closed that deal. And she was my closer. I did a lot of the negotiation. She did the closing because I hated dealing with title and escrow. Like, it just wasn't my thing. She is extremely well versed in that. So it was one of those things. We made a great team, and it was like, cool. Like I said, from that, it led to so much more. And that's the way that we've always tried to operate that side of the business. Like, there'll be times Marissa will send me a message and this will happen. And obviously, dude, I'm putting it all out on the table for you guys tonight. Like, I'm putting it all out there for you. Like, there's no secrets that are left after this. Marissa will message me and say, dude, we're $300 short to close, and this forecloses on Tuesday. And you want to know what my absolute response is every single time to her?
Do you say, sell all the top ramen, let's pay the $300?
Credit it out of the commission and close
That's it. That's it. Get it done.
I don't care about it. And dude, I've had homeowners that call me that are like, where did you come from? I'm like, dude, I'm not that much different than anybody else. And they're like, no, you don't understand. I tried to short sell my house 4 times before. They wouldn't listen. Nothing would happen. So it's one of those things. That's just what we always try. If you always keep that, that service attitude at the front of your business will always succeed. It will.
Yep. And listen, the opportunities present itself every single day. Every single day, we have the opportunity to go reach out to somebody that is on the pre-foreclosure list. We have the opportunity to knock on a door of a property that's, looking in rough shape. You have the opportunity to talk to somebody that just inherited a property, but they live out of state. It is endless opportunities to go and provide. And you go there. We talk about it all the time on here. As a servant, you go to serve that person and to put them in whatever strategy is the best for them. It's not necessarily a cash as is offer is the only thing that you can bring to the table there. There are so many other different tools that you can use and ways that you can help people that end up building relationship, and that relationship ends up letting you serve their whole community. I love that you mentioned that. I mean, it's huge. I mean, how many deals, Pace, have you run into where, somebody was supposed to clear out the house before the wholesale closed, and you had to pay for that to get closed? Or they took the appliances, right? And you had to pay for new appliances or give them a credit, or they were supposed to not drain the pool or whatever else. There's a million different things that happen that we eat it. And we eat it to keep this thing going on, because if you have that seller, if you go back to that seller after they've already left, after they've gone through this stressful time, and you're trying to get money out of them after it or try to pressure them, I am telling you, you will never get a referral from those people. You will.
Well, I really like that. So I have this guy named Rob here local, and I'm calling him out because nobody even knows who the hell he is, because he's not in business any longer. But I was doing construction for him. This is probably 8 or 9 years ago. I was his contractor for his fix and flips. And so he would call me before he closed on a property, and he'd say, hey, can you stop by and see if the tenants are out of, or not the tenants, but the homeowner out of this property? And I'd stop by and I go, hey, they're all gone, but they still got a car like in front of the sidewalk, right? They couldn't afford to tow it or whatever else. Man, that guy would go a month long grinding that homeowner out of $1,000 or $2,000 rather than just helping people. Nobody wanted to do business with him. He was always after that last dollar, that last penny. And he's not in business anymore. Nobody does deals with him. Nobody refers anything to him. He's gone. Finito. So when you're chasing stuff like that and you act like that, people don't want to be around you. It's why look at my students, right? We had one Zoom with Matthew last summer with my students. And I get DMs from people weekly about how Matthew is treating them and taking care of them. And Matthew's right. He treats my people and my students like he treats me and my business. And that's exactly how he treats himself and his business. So it's a major deal. How many text messages have you gotten, by the way? Has anybody said ramen?
All of them have said ramen. And I'm at... right now I'm at 72, which is
that's
fantastic.
So weak, guys. We got
sweet guys. We're not even triple digits. We got the triple digit guys here. Come on, what are we doing?
But to be fair, hold on. I'm over on the double monitors now. Hold on. my email box has 22, and out of those 22, I'd say probably 15 of them are regarding short sales.
Okay, guys, don't be a lazy ass.
What's our viewer count right now?
We're over 300.
Yep.
Okay, so here's what I want to point out to you guys, the other 250 people that have not texted Matthew. In 6 months, in a year, in 36 months, the things are going to change for you. Either A, you're going to get a deal that you need help on, or B, the market is going to turn upside down and you're going to go, oh my gosh, I need to run back to Wholesale Hotline's episode. Take his phone number, type in Ramen Matthew Potter, and put that shit in your phone. Even if you don't text him, you need to save his number. There's a bunch of people professing to be like, oh, I'm the short sell this, I'm a short sell that. Guys, nobody's done 1/10 the amount of deals as this guy.
18,100. If you're just joining, Matthew has completed 18,100. I don't even know how to divide that by how many days you've been doing it, but it is bananas.
So here's the funny thing about
18,100 deals is about how many wholesale deals I've done.
I was gonna say I try to keep up with Jamil these days. That's where I try to set the bar. So
Jesus,
here's the thing that's funny. I was sitting there and I was looking back on my pipelines of 08, 09, 2010. Now, granted, I was on a lot of Monster energy drinks back then. Like,
oh yeah,
dude, I slept like maybe about 3 hours a night. Like it literally was about 3 hours a night. I worked about 20 hours a day. My pipeline at any given moment was anywhere between 700 to about 1,200 short sales that I was working on. And the crazy thing was, it's cool. All right, I got 10 approved and I pushed them over to Nicole. But as soon as I did that, here comes Marissa, and she just drops 20 more right into my file folder, and she's like, get to work. And I'm like, dude. And one of the things, because I've had people, I know Pace, you run into this, Brent, you run into this. I've had people that have come to me and they're like, dude, you're full of shit. You haven't done that many deals. And I'm like, look, I don't have anything left to prove to anyone. Like, I know what I've done. I don't care. Like, if you want to think 2 + 2 = purple, I'm not here to argue with you about it. Here's the thing that's crazy about it, because you got to think about it. You have to have a system in place to do that. Like, you have to have a system in place to do what you do, Pace, and what you do, Brent, and same thing with Jamil. You have to have the system. Our system, our front-facing system, like us, like me, Marissa, and Nicole, dude, most basic thing you've ever seen. You honestly would laugh at our CRM. Our CRM was actually created for lawyers to be able to log hours. That's how simplistic it truly is. The whole key to the whole thing was actually, and this goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning, relationships with the people at the bank.
Yep.
Because if I have a good relationship with, say, Sarah at Wells Fargo, instead of calling in and being like, hey, can you give me a status update on these 3 deals? What do we need to do it? I can email her over a spreadsheet and say, hey, here's 150. Let's make everybody look real good this month.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, I have a status update on 150 transactions in less than 2 hours. And it's, oh, okay, cool. Boom, 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 boom. Here's your docs on all these. Okay, cool. They're submitted off for approval. And that's how you do it. It's just like anything else in this business, as we all know, it's relationships. And that's what it is. To this day, I still have one of the best relationships at Mr. Cooper, which used to be Nation Star, which this part of it used to be Ceteris, which used to be IBM, LBPS. Like, that's going way back in 09 right there. So here's the thing. I can literally send this guy a text message and he'll respond with, here's the value I need. It's approved. That's it. Like, I don't even need to submit a package to him anymore, because he knows that I will have all the docs there for him.
It's a powerful, powerful relationship to have.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. Every time that his every time that a loan comes across my desk where I look at it and it's one that hits for him, I'm like, oh yeah, we're about to have a real good time right now.
Oh yeah. So Matthew, I've got your cell phone on the screen.
Yes.
I want to impress on everybody one more time. If you have not saved his phone number, guys, I promise you will regret it. 2 questions for you. Number one, quickly, I don't want to get into this too much, but how can people actually like use you? Is it just to bother you, or should they come to you when they have what, like a no equity deal, a seller behind on their mortgage? What's the like thing I should bring to you?
What I tell people to bring me is bring me the seller that you've exhausted everything else on. I am the real estate garbage disposal. I am the last line of defense. You've gone through anything that Jamil has taught, anything Pace has taught, anything that anybody can think of. I am your last line of defense. I'm your garbage disposal. Go ahead. If you've looked at it, you can't get a loan mod, similar to what you were talking about, Pace, where there's no job. No job, you can't modify a loan. It doesn't work that way. Maybe they can't do a forbearance. They're not subject to COVID protections or anything of that nature. Bring me that seller. Bring me the seller that or the heirs who have inherited the house where the mother or father passed away, and there's a reverse mortgage, and you're sitting there looking at it saying, what the hell do I do with this? Bring me that. We will short sale those all day. It's not even a question. I'll tell you who the bank is when you email me. I'll say, this is the bank and this is who it's going to be with. Here's the paperwork. Let's get in front of the seller. Let's get the paperwork done, and let's get them relieved of this.
Do you do all 50 states?
All 50 states. There's not a state I won't touch.
Okay. Another question. I need to do like a full short sale training in I'm revamping my entire training for sub 2. We're calling it sub 2 2.0. I need to get you during the holidays for a couple of hours to do a whole breakdown on a workflow inside my training, so all my students know exactly what to do to
Perfect.
submit deals to you.
Like bro.
Now, here's my main question. I was very curious about, and every time I talk to you, I feel like it's always providing value to other people. So I freaking love hanging out with you because I know other people are learning every time I get to talk to you.
Same, bro. Same.
What do you think is going to happen? Let's not do any market predictions because the market's going to crash. We just don't know when. So let's throw that out the window. If the market crashes, is your phone just going to be freaking melted overload? Like, what's going to happen, dude?
So here's the fun thing about that. I always joke around. I do better in a down market than I do in an up market. And I'm having a lot of fun in the current market. I'm not going to lie, I am. The down market, that's when I thrive. Like I absolutely, like, I know this sounds sick. I enjoy short sales. Like I actually enjoy them. And yeah, dude, my cell phone is probably good. It's probably going to get to the point that I'm just going to forward it over to you, Pace, and just let you handle the calls from there on out. But no, like
Matthew.
Seriously, it will be one of those things. The cool thing that we have working in our favor is because of our system and our flow, it is extremely fluid and easy to integrate people into it. And we always have those people that they're off doing other things right now, I guess, for lack of better words. But the moment that the market shifts, they know where they're coming. It's here's your computer. It's already preloaded with everything you need. Let's get to work.
Yeah.
And boom, we're ready to hit the ground running.
So Scott Jenkins asked he says something. He goes, I have one for you in Houston, Texas. Holy cow. So everybody that's a sub 2 student, Matthew Potter has done a deep dive in sub 2 last summer for about 3 hours. Go watch that Zoom. He will walk you through every little thing. It's an unbelievable bonus Zoom inside of our sub 2 mentorship. Go watch that, Scott, and then reach out to Matthew. A lot of students, as you guys can see in the comments, a lot of students use Matthew and his team. A lot of people like, who's this guy? Juaniro says has almost 20,000 closings while I'm looking for my first deal. Congratulations, Matthew. So, Matthew,
Thank you.
next question. What do you say to the people who've never done a deal before? What, like, was there a moment in your career you had not done a deal? You felt like real estate was maybe not something that was even possible for you at some point?
To close my first deal, it took almost 6.5 months. And that was with deals, I guess for lack of better words, pretty much being dropped into my lap. It's just, I hadn't learned everything that I needed to learn. I was good at talking to people. I didn't know how to structure a short sale. I didn't know how to
Comp.
I didn't know how to put together a short sale package. Now I can put together a short sale package. Literally, I could be over here doing it, and I don't even need to look at the screen anymore. Everybody has to start somewhere. And dude, that first deal, I'm gonna be honest with you, I felt like the biggest dummy by the time I finally oh, okay, cool. Yeah, you want to work with me, and all right, there's a contract and the bank's gonna accept it. And literally, I got it and I sent it over to Nicole for closing. And I'm like, I don't even know what the hell we do now. Like, what do we do? And she's like, you close it. And I'm like, how the hell do you do that? I literally I didn't know that earnest money was a thing. I didn't know that title had to be clear. I didn't know that how buyers and sellers signed. And mind you, I had bought a house 5 years before that, and I still didn't understand any of this crap. I didn't. So it's one of those things, dude, just like anything in life, you can't be a master of something. You can't even be good at something if you don't at least attempt it. So you just got to attempt it, and then you'll get there.
Matthew, do you feel like you're still learning stuff even at your level of the game?
Bro, every day I learn something new. I mean, on every level, not just in business and personal life and all that, but I mean, in business, dude, there's times I'm like, okay, wow, that's new. I never even realized that was a thing. Okay, cool. So that's the thing that's probably the most fun about all of this, is that monotony doesn't occur if you continue to educate and evolve. It just doesn't.
Here's a question for the group. This has been asked since the very beginning of the live. We just haven't gotten to this question. Can I buy a HUD home and own it as an investment property? I skip trace 2 duplexes across from each other that's vacant and boarded up. It's HUD owned. Jamil, do you have an answer for this?
Well, of course you can buy a HUD home, but just understand that anytime you're buying an REO, there's going to be all kinds of issues you're going to be working through, right? First and foremost, they're not going to try to give you the longest inspection period. So that's going to be a problem, right? So, and secondly, they're going to want you to have a tremendous amount of earnest money. I've seen REO EMD increase from small amounts to $10,000 non-refundable. That's just how the banks have evolved in the way that they do business. And here's what I got to say, T-Town. Is that T-Town who asked the question?
Yeah. No, it was Sayal.
So, there are so many better properties to go after than trying to cut your teeth in REO. You can go after, pre-foreclosures. You can go at pre-foreclosure, not foreclosure, pre-foreclosure. You can go after code violations. You can go after so many different situations to solve a seller's problem than having to walk into one of the most complicated deal structures that exists, which is trying to wholesale an REO. I've wholesaled plenty of REOs, and I can tell you that it is the most complicated set of deal structures you'll ever deal with, especially if you want to wholesale it, where you're using the buyer's funds to close your deal. Is it possible? Absolutely. Is it a complete nightmare? Absolutely.
Well, typically HUD puts them online for auction. So
Correct.
they're going to put it on the online auction to sell. So
Yeah,
I mean,
well, again, she's talking about HUD, like just buying it online. Yeah, I mean,
like the HUD, like it's owned
Yeah.
by the housing urban
Yeah,
development,
yeah,
right?
I
So,
owned I owned a HUD home. I bought a HUD home for my personal residence
online.
online,
All right,
and I tore it down and built a new home on the lot.
awesome.
2 questions right here. T-Town Supreme. Matt, what are you finding to be the best way to get in front of pre-foreclosure sellers in your personal opinion?
You can pull lists, data lists of people that are, your 90-day lates, 90-day lates in Arizona. I believe you can pull those in every state. Your notice of trustee sales,
Public data.
I'm finding
so
that.
Claudio says, a student of the game. He's an awesome guy. He's a student of multiple of us on the stage. He's awesome.
You see that word he used there, Pace, real quick? I love that he did this. He said explain, not convince.
Yes.
How
He's
many
amazing.
times early on in our shows, like back in 15, 20, Wholesale Hotline 25, was it how do I convince the seller to do a short sale? No. Claudio's got it right. I love it. Go ahead.
Claudio lives in Boston and virtually wholesales in Houston, by the way. Anybody that they ask questions, people always ask questions. Is it possible to virtually wholesale? Yes, it is.
Yes.
Claudio says, how do we explain to the seller that a short sale is the best option possible when they may be considering letting it go to foreclosure just to be done with it?
Right. Great question. Usually the quickest answer on that is I completely understand wanting to be done. Why don't you let me help you, and let's just see if we can get a second opinion and see if there's an opportunity where we can clean this up for you so that it is truly done once and for all. That's the way that I usually will bring that to someone's attention, because they're a very heightened emotional state usually when they're done with something. That would be the way that I would explain it to them and say, hey, look, I understand being done. There is an option that could probably clear this up for you. Can I give you some information regarding that? And that's
Matthew,
the way to do it.
Are you finding that it requires you to have? I'm sorry, I think we cut out there. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
You're good.
Matthew, do you find that when you're dealing with this type of a seller, are you having to bring to the table a lot more psychological expertise with like how to deal with somebody mentally in that kind of a situation? And should there be tools or things or books that people can read that can get them a little bit more fortified to walk into a call like that?
I would say you got to have empathy. You have to have empathy when you're going into a situation like that. For me, when I'm dealing directly with a bank, there's no empathy there. It's just numbers. Like it doesn't matter. There's no emotion behind that. But when you're working with the seller, you got to put the empathy hat on. You have to put yourself in their boots. How are they feeling? They're losing their home. No matter what, they're losing their home. You're there to help them and help them avoid it in a, I guess, for lack of better words, a disastrous manner. So yeah, you have to bring to the table. You have to bring to the table a certain skill set of being empathetic, understanding, but also, because I run into this a lot, you have to be slightly assertive. And the reason why is you'll end up with a seller that has ostrich syndrome. And what that is they're just going to stick their head in the sand.
Yep.
None of this is happening. I'm not being foreclosed on. You're full of crap. You don't know what you're talking about. No, you have to be assertive, but you have to do it at the right moments in time. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. If you're too close.
What'd you say, Jamil?
How do you talk somebody out of an ostrich?
So I don't necessarily always suggest this, but what I usually do is if somebody is giving me ostrich syndrome and or quote unquote ghosting me, Usually what I'll do at that point is I'll just send a nice firm text message or a email that says, hey there, Jamil. It looks like you have everything figured out and that you no longer need my help. Should anything change, please feel free to reach out to me, and I wish you best of luck in your future endeavors. And I send that. And I kid you not, like that, the phone will ring. I did that on New Year's Day 2 years ago
So
to
you break
a
up.
guy. What's up?
You break up with them. You
Yeah,
cut it.
no, you
You're
lit-
like, look, I'm not even going to go any farther with
Pull
you.
away.
If you can't commit to doing a deal with me, commit to a conversation, you're gone.
Dude, you nailed it. And literally, I did that. And I kid you not, this was a guy I could not get a hold of for the previous 11 weeks. All I needed was him to sign the DocuSign package. Like, he didn't even need to do anything. I sent that. I kid you not. He called me. Okay, I signed everything. Are you sure you can't help me? And I was like, oh, I can as long as you pick up the phone. You have to stay in communication with me because if we're not in communication, I can't help you. And sometimes the banks need decisions within 24 hours.
Yeah,
So
you need them to participate in this.
exactly. It's not one of those things where there's no participation. Like, dude, you need to participate. I'll give you a trophy at the end. We can call it a day. Like, dude, but just stay in communication with me through the whole process.
But that's a great upfront conversation that you're saying, and it's a great filter to see if you can actually do business with this person. Are these people going to answer the phone? Are they going to be there when you need them to help them, right? And if you do that up front and you get a feeling like, well, I don't think this person's going to make it to the finish line here, that's when you stop that whole convincing them thing.
Yep.
And see if they actually trust you to get the job done. And if they truly want to get the job done, they should be hounding you, not
Exactly.
the other way around. But, obviously human nature, whatever else. I love it. Yeah. Awesome. Upfront, get the upfront. Let them know what the relationship's going to look like so that they're not surprised and they're not like, oh, what else do you need from me? What else do you need from me? If you're like, we're going to need all of this documents. They're going to come at me in different times. I just need you to be ready. Are you prepared to do that? Yes. Okay, great. I'm going to do my best job for you. Yeah. You good, Pace? Are you getting attacked again by,
yeah, I've got
what was she saying?
This,
the wireless was killing you. The phone was killing everybody and killing you.
Yeah, it was the lady. There's this lady in the park, literally the only homeless person we've seen in all of North Carolina. I promise you, like, it's incredible here. But this lady keeps coming up to me and saying, "Stop looking at your phone. You're going to die." So this has been a fun wholesale hotline, to say the least.
Well, listen, I mean, she's not wrong. Eventually, someday, Pace, someday.
She is not wrong. Eventually, someday.
That's three things real quick, Matt, that I really love that you mentioned is there's probably people on this show right now in the watching this that have a more elaborate CRM than you do.
Yep.
And you've done almost 20,000 deals. So that should tell everybody something. Okay, if you're fiddling around and you're playing around and getting real crazy with your CRM, you're not doing what you should be doing, which is having quality conversations with distressed property owners. Second thing, 6.5 months, guys. I am telling you, I wish I could just write it down in a book. How many people? I bet it's 90 to 95% of the top producers in our business. It takes them 6 months to get their first deal. I am telling you time and time and time again, but the people that push through that and get there is where, I mean, that's how you set up your whole career. You're setting it up off of ramen. You're setting it up off of $200 a month. You're setting up, you see the vision, you're going after it. Stay consistent, stay sustainable, take sustainable action all the time. And then the third one, I love this. You just go, man. You were just going. A lot of people think that education, you got to get educated first, plus action equals results. Well, it's really action plus results is your education. All right, get out there and get nitty gritty. Start taking the action. Start moving the ball downfield. Start building those relationships and the skills and the processes up. The sooner you start all that, the faster you're going to become whatever you want to become, whether it's a full-time real estate entrepreneur, a full-time investor, wildly wealthy, whatever it is. It starts by taking that action, and the results, the action and the results are your education. And that's what I got from you, Matthew. Thank you.
You nailed it. At the end of the day, one of my favorite books is You Can't Teach a toddler to ride a
bike at a seminar.
At a seminar. You can't. You have to, and like that's the number one thing. It's not like I graduated from a short sale university and it's like, there was this giant, educational thing. No, I learned what documents a bank needed, and I called a loss mitigation number, and we started putting together short sale packages, and Marissa started doing amazing things. And then Nicole started closing everything, even absolute shitstorms.
And then another key is never making a mistake, right? You never made a mistake.
Yeah. Okay. Dude, I make at least a dozen mistakes a day. Like, no joke. I do in all facets of everything. So it's one of those things, dude, get hit 7 times, get knocked down 7 times, get up 8. It's that simple. Like you got to keep going and doing it. And like I said, you'll be on that grind, and then all of a sudden you'll have that breakthrough moment. And like, this is where Brent and I definitely have 100% the same philosophy.
Yeah.
If you just talk to people, you will get so much value and education. Talk to everybody. Talk to the person that's bagging your groceries at the grocery store. You never know. You may be able to help them in some facet. You really might. It's not like, it's just, you don't realize 6 degrees of separation, man. Like that.
Bro, Jamil and I just had this weird thing the other day. So Jamil has this property in Central Phoenix. And I go, hey, let's go over to this property and let's do a YouTube video together talking about this house. And, last time Jamil and I did a YouTube video together, we ended up getting a TV show out of it. So I was like, let's go do another YouTube video together, right? So we go over to the house. There's no power. And my camera guys are like, what are we going to do? There's no power here. We need power for the blah, blah, blah. And I go, let me just knock on the door. Like, I didn't even say I'm going to go knock on the door. I just disappeared and started knocking on the neighbor's door. And next thing you know, the lady is the head project manager for Open Door, managing 700 renovations.
Open Door.
At Open Door. And she tells Jamil, she's like, hey, I can help expand your lot 17 feet because of this, this, and this, and blah, 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 blah. Guys, literally talk to everybody.
Right there.
And by the way,
our biggest competitor gave me 17 feet on our property.
Yes. And she was so sweet, so nice. She let us plug into her house. It was great. Also, TTP originally meant talk to Potter.
That's it.
Bro, I'm dead. I certainly assure you that is not what it stood for.
It's right. It's also
Matthew. I want to say one thing before we go, guys. Keep going.
No, you got.
I do. I have one last thing, and I'll shut up. Matt, are you looking to recruit anybody? Because I get a lot of people that are like, if you were going to start anywhere, where would you start? And I'm like, okay, I would probably work on TTP's acquisition team. That's probably one thing I would do. I would work on Jamil's acquisition or disposition team, or I would go learn what the hell Matthew Potter does. Like, are you recruiting? Or do you need people?
At the moment, no. But as we all know, that's going to be subject to change. It will be subject to change. And I am a huge proponent of, I think you guys have all seen me throw out this hashtag on a lot of my posts on Instagram and Facebook. I'm a huge proponent of hustle never sleeps. I can vibe with someone immediately, and I know whether or not they got what it's going to take to fit our business model and where it's going to go. So when the time comes, I'm coming right in here, and it's going to be, this is what's wanted. And I want to talk to people. I want to talk to the people that are out there doing the grind, because I remember all of this, like to a T. Like I said, this was a thing that was crazy back in 2010, it was January 3rd, 2010 was when we opened the doors to our personal short sale company after working for another one for a year. I was so nervous, I threw up that night because we had 115 G's on the line. Like, we threw out 115 grand capital to get this thing up and running during the worst economic recession that this country has ever seen.
Ever.
Like, if there was ever a poster child for doing stupid shit, it was me. Like, literally, like, it's one of those things where you're just like, dude, this is a horrible idea. We did that. I threw up and I went in, and because our operations were nationwide, and when we started, it was daylight savings time, which means the East Coast was 3 hours ahead of me. I went in at 4 a.m. and I started making phone calls to East Coast brokers at 7 a.m. Most of them hadn't even had a bagel. They hadn't even had coffee. They were pissed off I was calling them. They were still hungover from New Year's. And I was just like, dude, like, let's go. I want to make you money this year. Like, I want to make sure that you get paid and you do what you do best while I do what I do best. And these brokers were like, dude, you're an idiot. Don't ever call me again. I got one dude in Virginia who, to this day, still every day, he changes his voicemail and he records a new voicemail every single day. He has the most insane energy I've ever seen. And he said, dude, I'm ready. Let's talk. And off of him, we ended up getting their entire brokerage. And then we ended up doing probably 300, 400 deals with them.
Yep.
And it's, again,
Off of a cold call?
Off of a cold call.
You
That
just
was
picked
Off of
up-
TTPing?
You picked up this
TTP.
thing and made something happen? That's amazing.
just
That's
this.
amazing. Come on.
All that ramen.
Yeah,
All
but
that
at
ramen,
the time
baby.
you had a flip phone, right? Or an Android? What'd you have?
Bro, I had
BlackBerry.
BlackBerry, I had BBM, I had BlackBerry Messenger.
Hell yeah.
I had the
That
little ball where
That
you sit
was
there and
dope.
do
The
a
Pearl? The
The
Pearl?
ball.
The
Yeah.
BlackBerry Pearl was nasty.
I'm
I
sitting
made
there and
so
I'm
much money
like,
with that thing. Yeah.
man, trying to send a text on that thing, dude, you wouldn't text on it. You'd just call. You'd be like, dude,
You'd
this is
have to.
Yeah.
I almost want to remove text from everybody that joins the TTP family.
just
make
get on
calls.
the phone. Just get on the phone. But
You
yeah,
join
dude,
TTP, you get a flip phone. There you go. You get a Nokia. No texting.
dude, I like that. I like
Anyway.
that a lot. So
What a great show. What a great show, Matthew. I mean, absolutely incredible, guys. His cell phone, his email is all here. Save it in there no matter what. You never know when you're going to need somebody that knows
There you
what they're
go.
doing with a short sale. And if you guys are going after, and this comes up a lot, maybe for you guys as well, Pace and Jamel, but reverse mortgages. I mean, this is your strategy. This is your strategy right here, because there's not, I mean, they pulled out everything from those deals. Reach out to Matt and see if you can make something happen. Final thoughts, Pace, Jamil?
Matthew Potter's the shit.
Yeah. Jamil? Jamil's paused. All right, good. Well, we love you guys. We will see you. We will see you next week. Well, first of all, Pace, you've got your
met him
show.
more.
It's like a
Jamil's like up there cranking his laptop with like a hamster wheel or some shit.
Bye.
Yeah, exactly.
Pace, when's your next show? When's your next live on YouTube?
We've been doing a live
Is it-
every morning for the last 2 weeks. Hold on, let me
time?
get him off. Let me get Jamil off here.
We got it. Yeah. Go ahead.
So we've been doing a live for the last 2.5 weeks. We're somewhere near 140 contracts with driving for deals in like 2.5 weeks.
Awesome.
That challenge goes every single morning for the next 2 more weeks and we're done. Our original goal was to get 50 contracts in 30 days. We're at like 140 contracts in 15.
Awesome.
Super pumped, excited, loving it. Get DMs every single day, anywhere between 10 to 15 DMs a day. Just people saying, I got my first contract. We are talking about doing another free challenge in Q1 of next year. And then Matthew, when I get home, you and I are going to link up. We're going to do some good training stuff so we can get a bunch of people trained on submitting stuff to you. I really appreciate you. And Brent, thank you for holding down the fort between my homelessness and Jamil's hamster wheel laptop.
Well, listen, guys, 140 deals. It's not rocket science. They're driving around, they're finding ugly properties, and they're talking to the property owner, and they're getting opportunities. That's what it's about. It's incredible. If you had a question here that you wanted and it didn't get answered, join me live 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Wednesday. That show is open. It's going to be absolutely bananas. I'm bringing Ryan Thornton, my acquisition manager extraordinaire. He's going to close about $1.5 million himself this year in pure wholesale deals. He will be joining us on Wednesday. Do not miss that. Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are with Ryan Zolan, the 23-year-old phenom for Millionaire Before 30. Fantastic show. I know, Pace, you've got a show on Sunday. You always do the Sunday service, which is absolutely incredible. And guys, reach out to Matt and with any short sale opportunities. Awesome. Love you guys. See you
later, guys.
Thank you.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool.